Welcome back to Fun Robotics Network. I'm here with Team 1540, the Flaming Chickens, at the Pacific Northwest Clackamas District event, and we're going to go through their awesome robot. Right now, they're sitting at the #2 EPA in the district with a really impressive hopper and intake into a spindexer and shooter that has gone through a lot of revision and has a lot of really cool features that we're going to go through on this episode of Behind the Bumpers.
So this over here is our extending intake that brings with it our extending hopper. The way it works is a fuel will of course just be on the field and it will run over here, oh my bad, in which it will be intake through our rollers. And then probably the most important part of our intake is going to be this beam here, which is very good for robustness because it prevents our intake from being shattered in a head-on collision, which happens more than you guys would think. And then our intake can pivot in and out and pull with it this extending hopper, which is just two things that go in and out of these rollers and onto the spindexer.
Yeah, so after the fuel comes in here through the intake, it comes up and it hits this top panel here, which we reinforced and made more sturdy during our revision since our week 2 event at Wilsonville. And it comes down into here, and we've added this entire 3D printed part that covers up all these surfaces so that we don't have as many dead spots, which was an issue that we had previously. And it comes into here, which is our spindexer, which spins the ball into our feeder. In order to revise our spindexer, we tested a lot of different things. We put one of the cones from 2023 on an axle and spun it and found that it had really good performance. So we 3D printed this part here to simulate the success of that while being a little bit more efficient at what we wanted it to do. And along with that, some of the other revisions were making our entire hopper more sturdy with things like our angle brackets here and things all over the hopper, such as these polycarb pieces here to keep things from hitting while the intake deploys. And then the balls will then go up into the feeder, which is in here. It's very difficult to see. It's very deep inside, and which pops one ball at a time up into the turret.
Before we get to our next segment, we'd like to thank the following. It isn't too late to order competition apparel for your team at FRC Tees. Founded by FIRST alumni and offering a free 14-day turnaround with expedited options available, go to frctees.com to see why hundreds of teams are making FRC Tees their first choice for their apparel needs. That's frctees.com. For over 100 years, Kettering University has offered a better education because from day one, that education has been built on hands-on, co-op learning. Kettering's impressive alumni network includes founders, presidents, CEOs, and frontrunners who have a reputation for transforming industries with their resolute leadership. Apply today at kettering.edu/first.
So this here is our turret. It has a total of 600 degrees range of motion, which is allowed by our custom-made twister E-chain. So this is Twister E-Chain, which is based off of IGUS's product. We decided to 3D print our own because we couldn't use their stock, and it's been working pretty great. We had about 4 iterations total in addition to our prototype, and essentially the E-Chain just flips over on itself, and which allows for such a large range of motion. In addition, there's sensors over here that you can't see, but they track our turret positioning such that we can never accidentally go past our hard stops and break the turret. And it feeds into our shooter, which has these main 4-inch shooter wheels and these back rollers to help prevent backspin and provide more accurate shots. And we have an adjustable hood with a rack and pinion setup so that we have as little backlash as possible and it's as precise as possible. And you can also see our other method of wire management over here for a hood to prevent wires from getting slammed or squished together.
So was that a problem that you encountered in testing, or was that something that you designed in from the beginning?
We realized that this motor wouldn't be able to wire through our original method of guiding it over here. So we decided to add this afterwards, and this was our first iteration and it's been working perfectly ever since.
So I noticed when you were going through the hopper that this wheel here only has 3 of its rollers on it. Does someone want to tell me a little bit about the decision making behind that?
Yeah, so this is a mechanism wheel that's pointing downwards such that fuel is agitated in the upper part of the hopper, which which allows it to flow downwards into our spindexer better. We use 3 instead, just there wasn't really much decision making behind that. That was just what we had in stock. And but it's been working pretty well since. It's prevented a lot of our jams. It's made our throughput much faster.
To bring all of it together, we have a lot of neat bits of software. For example, to accommodate for the large range of motion on the turret, we have these 2 encoders with different tooth counts, and we use the Chinese remainder theorem to determine its position. Another challenge that comes with the turret is turret wrapping. So we are able to detect when we're about to reach the end of our range of motion and move to the closest set point that is equivalent, but won't break our turret. We have lots of autonomous routines and use an iterative solver to compute shot values for shooting on the move. One special bit of software that is pretty cool is our trench hood avoidance, because with the adjustable hood, when the hood comes up too high, it will hit the trench if we just run into it. So what we do is, while the robot is pathing around, we compute the component of its velocity that is pointing towards the trench. And if that component multiplied by some amount of time is too high, we will automatically lower the hood so that we don't hit the trench and mess everything up.
So I see you have, I think I count 3 cameras on the robot, 1 on the turret. Has that helped you in your odometry this season?
Yeah, so the 2 cameras on the side were originally, they allow us to see all the tags that are located lower down on the field. And the camera on the turret just helps us localize everywhere else, because especially when we're aiming at the hub, because the turret will be pointed in that direction, so it'll allow us to know where we are at all times.
All right, thank you, Flaming Chickens. Good luck with the rest of the competition today and the rest of your season. And thank you for joining us on this episode of Behind the Bumpers.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the bell to stay up to date on future fun videos. For over 100 years, Kettering University has offered a better education, because from day one, that education has been built on hands-on, co-op learning. Kettering's impressive alumni network includes founders, presidents, CEOs, and frontrunners who have a reputation for transforming industries with their resolute leadership. Apply today at kettering.edu/first. It isn't too late to order competition apparel for your team at FRC Tees. Founded by First alumni and offering a free 14-day turnaround with expedited options available, go to frctees.com to see why hundreds of teams are making FRC Tees their first choice for their apparel needs. That's frctees.com.